I have a command for you today. You need to be respectful of God's work. Realize that God is doing a work. He is doing a holy work around you. So when you think about the tasks that the church does, realize that it's a holy work. That goes from the preaching that happens and the singing that we do in the auditorium to the serving of the Lord's Supper. In those areas, you may already be thinking of respecting God, but that also goes into the nursery, that goes into our children's ministry, our teenager, everything that we do. We need to realize that God is doing a most holy work in everything that we do. Everything that we do, we want to be doing according to His plan and His way. So in that way, we honor the Lord. We're respectful of what He's doing things the way that He wants us to do it. And if we don't do it in the way that He wants us to do it, usually problems come about. So let us take a look at our reading here. That was my space for the day, and we'll see that in just a minute. I'll point it out to you, but find your own space as you read through even these difficult passages. Try hard. Read it again, and try to find your own space or a promise or an attitude, command to obey, an example to follow. So here in chapter 4, we're talking about the duties of the Kohathites, the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites. It looks like I'm frozen there in the bottom corner. But we're talking about these three sub-tribes or clans of the tribe of Levi. And we see that the ones that were supposed to be serving, if you remember all the other tribes, they were supposed to serve 20 and older. This one has a particular time frame. Soldiers supposed to be 20 and older. Those working in these duties were supposed to be between 30 and 50. And we're going to see the reasoning of that in future readings, but we'll have to keep that in mind here. And we're told that the sons of Kohath, the Kohathites, what they were supposed to do is that they were in charge of the most holy things that they should be respectful of. And what God commanded them to do is that Aaron and his son shall go in to take down the veil of the screen and cover the ark of the testimony with it, the ark of the covenant. And then Aaron and his sons were supposed to put on it a covering of goat skin and spread on top of that a cloth of blue, and shall put in its poles. There was a particular way the Kohathites were supposed to be carrying this holy special furniture of the Lord. We're actually told if they did not carry it in this way, if they touched it in any way, shape, or form, that they would die, even though they were Levites. It was only the priests that were supposed to handle that. And it goes on to not only talk about what they did with the Ark of the Covenant, but what they were supposed to do with the table of showbread, the table of presence, and all of it you can see oftentimes is talking about spreading a cloth of blue and cover it with a covering of goatskin and shall put in its poles. They were to carry the poles and never touch the actual furniture. But then we see that after the sons of Aaron got it all ready, then the sons of Kohath shall come to carry these, but they must not touch the holy things lest they die. And that's why I'm driving us down to this command to obey, is that we need to respect the work of God. We need to do things exactly the way that God tells us to do it. We need to obey God's principles. We need to obey God's commands. Otherwise, things will not turn out well. You cannot expect God to bless your family and your church when you deliberately do things against God's plan and His ways. In fact, King David, out of all people that you would think that the Lord would honor and overlook, King David actually had the Ark of the Covenant moved in a way that God did not command it. And because he was putting it on a wagon and the horses were pulling it, or the mules, or whatever the burden of beasts that was pulling the Ark of the Covenant began to topple and began to fall. And there was a poor man right beside it that reached out his hand and, thinking he was doing a good thing, attempted to stop the Ark of the Covenant from falling down to the ground. And what happened to him? You know what happened to him. He reached out his hand to touch the Ark of the Covenant. As soon as he did it, he died. It's because he did not do it the Lord's way. He touched the holy things and he died. We must be respectful of God's commands for our family, of God's commands for His church. Let's do things God's way. Again, let's reiterate this one more time. Aaron and his sons shall go in and appoint them each to his task and to his burden, but they shall not go in to look on the holy things, even for a moment, lest they die. Let us do things God's way. Let us go about our business God's way. Let us be respectful of God's most holy work. I pray that's been a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.